going on, guys? Welcome back into the channel. In today's video, we're going to be doing a review, kind of a casual review of MLB The Show 24. I'm not going to break this down in quite the same detail that I do in previous years, because when it comes down to it, MLB The Show 24 is ultimately a fairly copy and paste game in comparison to prior years' MLB games. There's not a whole lot that plays differently about the game. There are not a whole lot of, in my opinion and in my experience, new features that are going to change the way that the game plays. The best way to play the game is still on some of the classic control settings, such as meter pitching and those types of things. There's really not a whole lot different about this game. It is still probably the best sports game on the market, however. So you have kind of a contradiction of details when it comes to MLB The Show 24. While it maintains itself as one of the best games on the market, it also has not changed a whole lot, especially over the past many years, to be honest with you. Since I was brought into the MLB The Show fold with my friends and whatnot, the game has not changed a whole lot over that time frame, except for the loss of connected franchise mode, which is really important to my group of players. And unfortunately, that is something that has still not been brought back to MLB The Show 24. I will, however, say that the actual gameplay feels as smooth as it ever has. One of the most important things for me in prior years was a disconnect between when you were pressing the buttons on your controllers and when your bat was actually swinging, when you're pressing the button on your controllers and when you were actually pitching. It was a disconnect, and it was very evident in online matches whenever that was the case, and it was even evident offline in franchise mode, which is my main mode of playing. In addition to that, you have moments, you have your Diamond Dynasty stuff, you have Road to the Show, all of that stuff I also feel like you would notice that issue in, and I have not noticed that this year at all. This is the smoothest the game has played. Hitting feels like hitting should feel. The timing is correct on hitting, and I really hope that they don't change it. The same thing goes for pitching, and I want you guys to be aware of what that looks like here in MLB The Show 24, because you may know that I often play on veteran or all-star difficulty. Well, this year I am on Hall of Fame, and it's easy for me. And this is the first time that it has ever felt that way for me. And it's easy for me, and I can play on Hall of Fame because when I press the button to swing the bat swings and hits the ball. And the PCI is where I'm swinging the PCI, where I have it indicated. And when I pitch, it's registering the buttons correctly. Nothing feels off. It is smooth as butter, and I think that that is the biggest positive for this game. If you haven't bought MLB for a while, or if you're considering buying MLB this year, this is the smoothest gameplay-wise. And that's not even to mention all of the additional animations and things that they've added into the game. What was it, 800 plus new animations for fielding and whatnot? That's a nice bonus on top of the game already being probably the best sports game on the market. But the thing that is most impressive to me is that they have finally gotten the gameplay to the point where it is as smooth as it needs to be. And what I hope that means is that in MLB The Show 25, we will finally have connected franchise back, because I'm also seeing that online gameplay is as smooth as it's ever been. So that means that they have resolved the issues that they have been working towards, and hopefully that means we will get the most important game mode back in the game. I think it is worthwhile to give you guys some evidence of how smooth this game is and how much these things register properly by showing you the franchise that I've been working on right now with the Pirates. I'm 10 games in, and I've been absolutely destroying the CPU. 3-1, 5-1, 4-2, 10-6, 7-2, 4-3, 8-0, 8-0, 3-1, and just won a 4-2 game. And I decided after playing that game that I had to make the review, because These aren't the only games that I've played. I've also played Moments. I've also played some other stuff, but it's worth it for you guys to get this game if you appreciate smooth gameplay and the gameplay being physically better than it has been in prior years. It's just fantastic. It's mind-blowing. I am going to go up to the highest difficulty. I'm going to go up to Legend difficulty, and I feel very confident that it is going to feel like a competitive experience, as opposed to prior years where you would go up to Hall of Fame difficulty, you would go up to Legend difficulty, and any pitch that was even close to the zone would get hit for a solo shot home run. That's not necessarily the case now. You can actually pitch around the zone and on the edges of the zone like you should be able to, and the CPU isn't just automatically going to take you yard. It is much more realistic. They are much more realistic in how they get hits, where their hits are located. It's not just going against a hard CPU that's hitting dingers all day long. And I think that it even kind of registers when you take a look at like the pitching rotation and the lineup that I'm dealing with. I mean, I'm pitching on Hall of Fame with Mitch Keller, Paul Skeens, Jared Jones, Quinn Priester, and Luis Ortiz, none of which are, crazy good. Now, sure, some of it comes from them having good velocity and different ratings and things like that, but in the end, none of them have good hits per nine, Ks per nine, home runs per nine numbers. It's just actually playing the way that the game should play, and that is something that has to be said, that I have to bring up, that is more important than anything else that I could say in this review, because from that perspective alone, this game feels so worth it. It feels so good to just jump into games and actually play them this year. You guys that are familiar with my channel know that I like to do a lot of simulating. I like to get into a lot of years in franchise mode and draft and scout and to build a team. I'm going to be very hard-pressed not to play 162 games in my Pirates franchise in the first season. It just feels that good to actually play the game and how smooth the hitting and the pitching actually is this year. Now, I do want to bring up a couple of notes on other topics that I consider to be a little bit less important. One of them is the menu system and the UI here. I don't like the change to the UI, to the menu system. It's, for the most part, the same that it has been. The same options are here that have been in here in the past, but to me, it's a waste of time the way that they shuffle this around almost every single year and just give the same stuff a different appearance. And I can press the arrows as fast as I want to move from one mode to the other, but it still does this like whole animation thing that makes it feel slow just to get over to the mode that I want to get to. And unfortunately, franchise isn't pinned as the first thing over here. They have Road to the Show, Diamond Dynasty, and March to October before you get to franchise mode. So for me, that kind of stinks. And another thing that I like to say here is that they're kind of adopting the same theme that all the other sports titles have done. NHL's done it, Madden's done it. They go with these like bright neon colors and they are trying to play to a younger crowd. And this is what I call like the Fortnite version of a game. I've said this about Madden. I've said it about NHL. I've said it about other games as well. Unfortunately, the menu system is like the Fortnite version of MLB The Show. It's not what I would want out of MLB The Show for a menu system. They do have some nice moments in here. I mean, Diamond Dynasty is largely the same experience, and I don't know that you guys are going to be looking for major changes in Diamond Dynasty. Some people are happy about the fact that custom players aren't in there. Some people are disappointed by that fact. I thought it was something that added a cool element, but it also could be OP in certain circumstances. And other than that, your gameplay experience is going to be largely the same. I do think it is worth it to note that you can play as female characters now in Road to the Show. I think that that does add value, especially to a lot of gamers that might not have felt included by MLB The Show 23 and prior games. That's just the way that it's been for a long time, and they're, starting to update these things. So hopefully that does bring more users into the experience and help them to experience the sense of how good this game actually is that they might have been missing out on before, because this is truly, in my opinion, still the best sports game on the market. I do feel like this is the most straightforward it has been in order to select your Road to the Show character and how you're going to operate that character between, picking your position, what type of player you're going to be at that position and whatnot, and then, getting in and customizing and starting your quote unquote narrative experience, as they call it. I think that Road to the Show is pretty solid this year. I don't really have any complaints here. I need to play it further to get the full depth of the experience that Road to the Show has to offer, but I could not help but get this video out to you guys because of how good this game feels for me to play right now. And so I just want to hear down below what you guys think about this game if you have already gotten it. And I know that I have a bunch of people that watch my channel. I get the comments all the time that they haven't bought MLB The Show since the show 22 or 21 or this, that, and the other thing. I would just be curious to see what you would think getting MLB The Show 24 and how different the game might feel for you and how much better it might be. And I don't think people are wrong when they say that MLB The Show is largely a copy and paste game from year to year, but I don't think that they necessarily need to change a whole lot, especially with how good the gameplay is now. I don't think that they need to change a whole lot because the game is already good. I just can't get over the fact that they still haven't put in connected franchise. Like, take all of this time that you put into revamping the menu and the UI and, creating extra scenarios, and maybe instead of putting in 800 extra animations, you put in 500 animations and use that resource, that time from those developers to turn franchise into a connected mode where I can finally play with my friends again. It has been far too long since I've been able to do so, since we've been able to do so, and honestly, I think a lot of us are to the point where that's just what we want to do. We want to play franchise mode with our friends. Anyway, I want to hear your thoughts, whether you have MLB The Show, whether you haven't bought MLB The Show. Are you planning to get it? Have you been, waiting to get it for a while? Do you have it? What are your thoughts on the existing game? What do you like? What do you dislike? Leave those comments down in the comment section below. You guys have been crushing it in the comments section. I really do appreciate all the feedback you guys have been giving. It is fantastic and it helps to drive the channel. So make sure you leave a like, leave that comment down below, and subscribe. I do have to put this out there. Thank you to the developers for providing a copy of the game to me. As always, these are my straight up legitimate opinions of the game. I mean, I'm going to tell it to you straight. And if it was a bad review and they stopped giving me the game, that is what it is. I'll buy it myself and review it anyway, but I'm fortunate enough that they continue to give it to me. And it turns out that the game is just really good. Leave that like, leave that comment. As always, I'll see you guys in the next video, and I hope you have a good one.